January 17th, 1994. On our call sheet, 7 a.m., we were supposed to be at the Days Inn in Hollywood for our very first day of production. Guess what happened at 4:30 that morning? If you enjoyed this series, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and leave me a comment down below. I'd love to know what you're getting out of this and how we might improve this for the future so that we can help other young filmmakers. My goal here is to help you not make the same mistakes that I did. Making movies is hard, and if I can help you in any way through my experience, please let me know in the comments down below. Give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, come back for more. We're going to be looking at the entire making of Backlash all the way through distribution and ultimately how that led to my next projects. And maybe that can give you, as a young filmmaker or somebody who's interested in movies, a little insight into how the whole thing came together. And if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 of this series, I highly recommend you go back and check it out. That'll give you a little flavor as to how we got to this point.
Away we go into the great wild blue yonder.
It's January 1994. We just cast Christian and Sonny. You could not find two more different actors when it comes to their approach to the characters. And in real life, Christian was this pretty laid back dude. But when it came to his acting, he was intense. He was focused. He was, I don't want to say method, but he was pretty close to it. He would dive into the character and become this guy. He needed space to live in the mind of this character of Tommy.
Tommy's not really a good person. He does things and he doesn't really think about whether they're going to hurt other people or not.
He needed, for me as a director, to be able to let him go there and not expect that he could snap out of it just like that if I needed to give him a note.
It's weird. I mean, I've had dreams the last week or so of doing really horrible things. And in my dream, it's always okay. I mean, it's always like, it's good. And it's scary, man. It's scary living a character like this because it's really hard to come out of.
So I needed to learn how to approach Christian as an actor to be able to help him develop this character. And as a director, especially as a first-time director, that was really hard for me.
Okay. The only reason it's not working for me is why is she laughing at Harry and I'm freaking out? Because explain that.
Maybe it would
why is she like having a ball, laughing at this guy, getting a kick out of him, and I'm here, oh my God, he's gonna kill me.
Now, on the other side of the equation was Sonny. Now, Sonny was a ball of nuclear energy.
Hello.
Yeah.
Christian and David. Hollywood Boulevard, that's right. Get down.
What's up?
Getting crazy.
Making Backlash.
Getting wacky. Go ahead.
Sonny was like this electron that just kept bouncing around all over the place, and she'd be over here and over here, and she was super social, and she wanted to be friends with everybody, and she was always on her headphones, and she had her music going, and she was prepping, and da-da-da-da, and then she would click into the character and be in the scene. And she would bounce in and out of character just that quickly. So if I could get her focused, and I was constantly saying, Sonny, Sonny, focus, I need you right here. And she would go, oh, yep, okay, all right, I'm here now. But because it was so easy for her to click in and out of the character, Christian over here, trying to stay in the character of Tommy, kept getting pulled out by her energy.
Like you'd go, showtime everyone down. And then...
No, I don't want you to break that. That's really weird.
And as a director, especially as a first-time director, I was thrown for a loop on this. I mean, even when we were in rehearsals, I remember running around Hollywood with Christian and Sonny to try to get them together, to be able to get familiar with each other.
It's gonna hook up!
You're light.
Oh, I know?
Yes.
I bet I can pick you up.
Remember, they were supposed to be in love. They were supposed to be boyfriend, girlfriend, but they were so different as people that the chemistry between them, we really had to work on that. I don't know that we ever got that chemistry right.
Christian and he was more like a big brother, more beating on me off camera and, teasing me, but it was great to work with him. I learned a lot.
She's a trip, man. I love this girl so much.
Skipper!
I'm so sorry.
And can I just say,
It's been really great working with her. I've learned a lot, and I'm really, I feel really fortunate to have done that. Hair smells great.
Oh, killer.
Okay.
All right. When you're working with your actors, try listening. Invite them into the conversation. How would you feel if the character did this? What would you think about trying this? Rather than giving them line readings and telling them how you want them to read it, get inside the character, get inside their motivation, right? It's a cliche, what's my motivation? But the idea behind that is, what drives this character? Every scene should have an obstacle for that character so that it's something that they can't get to. And every character within the scene should have an intention. They want to get there, but there's an obstacle. And so that creates conflict, and conflict creates drama. And oftentimes you have two characters, in our case, Tommy and Jennifer, who had different intentions, and they became each other's obstacle. So how do you direct a scene with actors that need completely different approaches to developing their characters? You have to become a chameleon as a director. You have to learn how to speak the language of your individual actors. And that language could be completely different from one to another. The way that I would direct Christian was totally different than the way that I would direct Sonny. But see, this was my first time doing it, so I had to learn all that. I didn't know. I just was like, okay, guys, do this, do this, do this. And I was trying to control them like pieces on a board or like puppets and saying, okay, make this move or do this thing or whatever. If you value your actors, try not to do that. Because if they feel controlled, if they feel like a puppet, they're going to hold back. They're not going to give you what they could give you. Because they're going to say, well, if they're going to control me like this, then I don't have any control for myself. So I'm going to hold back. And I mean, listen, I've been in situations, okay, with actors where, in fact, one name actor, I guarantee you know who he was. We were on set together and I said, hey, can I give you a little note? And he pulled me aside and he said, you're not going to give me anything. Is that understood? Now, you're welcome to throw things out. You're welcome to say, hey, let me throw this out there and see what you think. But you're not going to give me anything. Oh boy. You talk about being back on your heels as an actor's director. I'm like, man, where did that come from? Well, it came from the fact that he was a big actor working on a low budget movie in this other situation, and he didn't want to take direction from anybody. He wasn't getting paid enough to be able to take my direction, right? So, but in that particular situation, I felt completely on my heels as a director, and I had to learn very quickly how to speak his language. Now with Christian and Sonny, I was still learning. This was a completely new thing for me, and it was new for them too. This was the first time that they had been in a movie, and so we were all working together, kind of feel that out.
Cut. That's terrific. That's great.
Okay.
So now picture this, all right? It's January 1994. We've done a couple of days of rehearsals running around Hollywood, and we had the days in Hollywood for our very first day of production. January 17th, 1994. Guess what happened at 4:30 that morning?
Earthquake! We're having an earthquake.
It felt like our apartment had been hooked up to a tow truck and dragged across the street. I mean, it was so loud. Epicenter in Northridge, we were 20 minutes away. And man, it just bam! I mean, it shook everything for such a long time.
We're here in the Channel 4 newsroom, as you folks, there's no surprise. For any folks this morning, we've been hit with a major earthquake. Half the newsroom behind me has been disheveled, a lot of television monitors knocked off the shelves.
And I woke up and I was like, okay, are we okay? Are we alive? Are we filming? Are we still going? So I got on the phone to everybody. Beep, 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 busy signals. Busy signals everywhere. I was calling our location. I was calling our people and nothing. And then finally, after hours, we started getting the information in. It was a massive earthquake. There were freeways that had collapsed. There were buildings that had collapsed. There were hotels with giant cracks through the wall, including the Days Inn Hollywood Boulevard. Our very first location that we were supposed to be at 7 a.m. are like, are we still going to go? Are we still going to roll? We couldn't get in there. We couldn't even get close. We drove down into Hollywood, or tried to anyway, which is right over the hill from Toluca Lake, and we could barely get in. There was just pandemonium. I mean, roads had been buckled and buildings, you could just see where the big cracks were, and people were outside and going, what the heck? Emergency vehicles going up and down. Now, that was nothing like what it was in Northridge, right? Entire apartment buildings had collapsed and giant fires were going and all kinds of things happened. There was craziness happening in LA. And I'm still in my apartment going, are we going to shoot? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Crazy days. Because you know what we did? We said, well, our location in Hollywood is destroyed. Let's go to a cover set. What's our cover set? And if you don't know what a cover set is, that's the set you go to in case your first one is not available. Oftentimes, if there's rain, you can't shoot outside. So you have to have an interior cover set. Well, in our situation, we're just like, you know what? Let's get the car, the picture car, which was a Ford Mustang convertible loaned to us by our friend John that I met also at Back to the Future. Let's drive it up to Palmdale and do some of the driving scenes. Well, at that point, we didn't know that the freeway had collapsed. We were in for a very rude awakening. I'll tell you about that next time. I'll talk to you soon.
Just being a crazy, insane person to go out and make the film you want to make. You have to have passion. You absolutely have to want to do it. Because it's crazy. I don't envy anybody in this position, do you?